According to the Pauli exclusion principle, two objects cannot exist within the same space. Ahoy hoy, friends and enemies! After a huge gap between projects, I finally decided to make a challenge run for the final game in the Dishonored franchise. It has been quite a big few months. Unemployment is still kicking my ass, and my major video projects are all postponed due to the fact that everyone involved is a bit too busy. But I did start reading again, which is nice, and I finally decided on what our challenge will be for Dishonored Doto. There is no pistol in the game, and the general response to my Dishonored 2 pistol only run was that it was too easy, and Doto doesn't have a pistol anyway, so there should be no return of the pistol packing mama. So a more challenging one then. Can you beat Dishonored Death of the Outsider only by telefragging? I will explain how I will be telefragging later, when I actually unlock the ability. But like the previous challenges, I cannot use any form of elimination, weapon, power, or whatever that isn't telefragging. With that out of the way, let's begin. Expect pain. The first mission starts with an otherwise impassable boarded up wall, which you must smash with your sword to continue failing the challenge. Continuing the challenge, like every first mission in every Dishonored game, you must start without any supernatural abilities, meaning I cannot kill anyone at all. I also have given myself a bonus challenge of finishing as many of the optional contracts as I possibly can without violating the challenge rules. After narrowly avoiding death by two guards I got caught by, I grab whatever's inside the obligatory IMSIM 451 safe. After entering the bathhouse where an illegal boxing ring is being held, we find the target of the first mission, Dowd. You know, from the first game. We have to rescue him, and in order to do that I need the key, which is on the second floor. Normally I bribe someone to let me in, but this time I just entered through the locker room and crawled through a hole in the ceiling to break in. On the second floor there's a black bone charm, which grants the double jump ability. Black charms are A-OK, as they are just passive effects. Besides, I will need them. My plan to steal the key involves me pushing the button to release the hounds, and sick them on the gang boss. This goes poorly as I get caught, and the hounds struggle to focus on an enemy. But after some coercing, they killed one total enemy, before all being slain. Luckily, I grabbed the key from the boss when she wasn't looking, and took the White Hound into the incinerator, completing one contract. Dowd is freed and knocks out the rest of the eyeless gang, and tells us that we need to assassinate the Outsider, like the title of the game says. I then run around, looting the entire place before leaving. The second contract requires smashing bottles of a particular drink, but I am swordless in this run, except for that one time. I am powerless to do anything. I do wonder if I could have lured a guard into their back room to smash it for me, but I flee the guards by the entrance where I began and ended the mission without killing anyone. Technically, there's no chaos system in the game, so it doesn't really matter. The following mission starts with the Outsider cutting our arm off. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, in Dishonored 2 you could change the past and Megan would get her arm back. So this run is non-canonical to my Dishonored 2 pistol run, which is non-canonical to my DLC Summon Assassin run, which is non-canonical to my Dishonored 1 pistol run. Anyway, we are introduced to our new power set, especially Displace, which instead of being like Blink, which teleports you instantaneously, instead summons a marker, which you can teleport to, and it can be placed inside people. And because an object cannot exist in the same space as another object, and in utter convenience, the black bone charm that would make or break this run spawned on the roof of the building right beside the entrance, meaning I take less damage and I don't get knocked over by telefragging. Wizard. The other two powers are a freeze time, which lets you leave your body and place displace markers, very helpful, and semblance, which allows you to steal faces, but it knocks out enemies, so I cannot use it. The mission is to help Dowd get a magical sword which can kill the Outsider. The entire backstory of T's sword being the subject of Dishonored the Corroded Man, a tie-in prequel novel I had the pleasure of rereading, as it was the last proper novel I read before dismissing myself as a slow reader, but what previously took 10 months now took 10 days, starting me reading again. If I had anything negative to say about it, it was that part 1 of 4 takes up like 40% of the book, and it kind of feels like a slog, but it's a necessary slog as it sets up everything that would occur in the following 60%. Also, a character called Ronaldo, despite being one of the POV characters, becomes a total non-player after part 2. While I would like to follow the sequels, The Return of Dowd and The Velvet Terror, but they have must have been producing a minuscule amount, because the return of Dowd especially goes for about 100 quid minimum. Anyway, returning to the actual challenge, I break into a tattoo parlor and exploit the assistant. It's okay though, she kicked puppies on the weekend. Anyway, the tattoo artist knows the big two gang cheeses that have the keys that we need to get the sword. The first I stop by is Ivan Jacoby. He is rehearsing a speech above a trapdoor. If I could kill him any other way, I'd use the trapdoor to grab his house keys off of him. But instead, I place a marker on an escape route so I can pickpocket him and get away quickly. It goes poorly, but I escaped. Before going after his vault key, I stop by The Sun in order to get a lead on a big scoop that can ruin Jacoby. Inside his offices, he keeps a vial of blood for various murder victims because he's part of a club that does that sort of thing. I also picked the vault key off the table. After delivering the damning piece of evidence to the Daily Mail, I headed inside the bank to check off one of the contracts for the mission, busting a racketeering ring. I chain explosions by popping Foresight right after displacement, allowing me to freeze time to place another marker and pop him before he could flee. I'm also right beside the evil murder pub that I need into. Despite the violent exploding, telefragging is actually a silent elimination, but it's not really great in a firefight, as I just trying to kill the gang members winds up with myself biting the dust. So instead, I just keep luring them into the same room until the entire upstairs is cleared. The second target is Shan Yun. For whatever reason, has a catwalk from his mansion to the Evil Blood pub. I had hoped I could get through the mansion without telefragging any of the guards, but between getting caught unlocking a door and slipping off of a statue of an octopus, I chose violence, killing numerous guards, even killing Shan Yun. I got the audiograph I needed to access his safe by displacing inside the cabinet it's stored in. I made my way out the way I came in, through the evil pub. But not before picking up one of their victims for another contract. I have 2 more contracts, one for kidnapping the bartender, the other for killing a street clown and making it look like an accident for insurance fraud. Sadly, I don't think spontaneous explosion is counted under accidental death. I leave the mission on Billy's skiff, which is here for some reason, and leave with both keys and 18 bodies having closed casket funerals. Mission 3 is the bank heist. I spend the first 30-something minutes just bumming around collecting all the money I can. I needed a large quantity of laudanum in order to facilitate the heist. I could either acquire it from the black market at a flat rate, or at an auction for possibly even less. But in order to attend the auction, I'd need to use semblance, which isn't in the cards. So I opted to buy it. I even picked up the contract and finished one right away, as it was right next to where I started. More looting. And I even stopped by Ivan Jacoby's place to find he Avengers Endgame himself. I follow up by Avengers Infinity Warring the Eyeless. After my half-hour-long sidetracking, I finally reach the bank, surrounded by guards, who are on alert as their hounds sniffed me out, so I'm waiting for them to return to the normal patrols so I can pickpocket one specific guard for the second contract of the mission. Once I finally do that, leaving half the contracts finished, I finally try to make my way into the bank. I tried to reach the roof, but it was impossible to send up a marker no matter how much I tried. And my self-imposed rules mean I cannot plop whale oil onto the lift. My second choice is through sanitation, but I would discover that I would have to shoot a projectile onto a button, and that was out of the question. Third and final choice, the sewers. Using a system of carefully placed markers and timing, I could swoop in and open the sewage canal without arousing suspicion. Once I finally made my way inside, my next plan was to reach the roof via the stairs. Because of the third contract, I could not eliminate anyone, neither lethal nor non-lethal, so complete evasion was necessary. Once I did make my way up the stairs, I dropped the poppy tincture into the air ducts, sending everyone into a deep sleep. This does not violate the rules, as everyone inside isn't eliminated, they're just sleeping. Making any sort of loud noise would wake them up, botching the contract. Now able to peruse without being seen, I opened the doors to the inner atrium and got killed by some arc pylons. I moved the arc pylons as I cannot disable them, and snuck around a clockwork soldier who is content to stare at his co-worker sleeping on the job. It was supposed to be patrolling, but I guess the order I did things in caused its behavior to change. Firstly, a detour to the basement to rob Morgan Yu from Prey for another contract, and Dr. Galvani for a third time the fool. Top floor, robbed the bank owner, stole a document for the final contract, and entered the secret maintenance room which contains the lever to access the vault. Thankfully, I misremembered the vault and was certain I would have to smash something with the sword to get in. Instead, I just pulled some things out and caused the safe to crash into the sewers.
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off!
The combination to the safes within are the Fibonacci sequence, and the famous sword is mine. Billy Joe Armstrong taunts me by informing that Dowd has died while I was taking a whiz and sent off to the Boulevard of Broken Dreams. I leave with nary a feather ruffled, except for the rude awakening caused by the bank vault falling, which isn't considered a disturbance, so my final contract is complete, giving me a 4 out of 4 for the whole mission. I spent my stealings on upgrades. The fourth mission uses a level from Dishonored 2, the Royal Conservatory. I must find a MacGuffin to find the entrance to the Outsiders BDSM club. Before doing anything mission critical, I help a woman find her boyfriend and explode a whole lot of overseers. I would later learn that I didn't need the cash reward. Foreshadowing. I decided to get one of the contracts out of the way since I'm nearby, and I explode doing so. Master thief I am not. I eventually make it to the black market and find out that it's blocked by a board, so I can't get in. The boards cannot be broken through displacement, and I didn't want to fail the run again, like I did at the start, so I couldn't actually reach the contracts themselves. Thankfully, I remember the contracts, so I would try to do them regardless. There is stealing the idol, done, stealing the prophecies of the head sister, and the best challenge, kill everyone. Except for one particular person, that's a complication. In the previous mission, I collected a black bone charm that lets me place a second marker in displace, allowing me to chain telefrags together. Wizard. I kill a lot of overseers just getting into the building. If I was monetized, I would be getting demonetized. Once I am actually inside, I get in with nary a feather ruffled, and find that Brother Cardoza, the one overseer that needs to be taken alive, is right beside chloroform bottles. If I don't break the bottles, I didn't break the rules. It took a few attempts, but he finally smashed the bottle, knocking himself out. But he also took an oracular sister with him, and I cannot telefrag her while she's asleep, so I had to try again to make sure she died first. Anyway, now that he's asleep, I can kill every single one. During my rampage, I found a note relating to the prophecy contract, so it automatically got added to my list and immediately completed a second later. The overseers and oracular sisters are all exploded. I got the Silvergraph, put Brother Cardoza in the CIA torture chair, freed a witch, and I left. I made a safety save before the black market to break the rules and check the contracts, and all 3 are listed as complete. But after leaving the mission, only 1 is listed as complete without checking the black market. So I'm putting an asterisk on the completion rate. 10 out of 13 contracts complete. Final mission now. I either kill the outsider or die trying. And brother, I will die a lot. The mission opens up with me telefragging some dogs. If I wasn't cancelled before, I sure am now. Since I've had bone charm crafting for ages, I decided to clump a lot of them together. Oh, 1 got a debuff, but I don't think there's any grenades in this level, so it doesn't matter in the end. It was by this point I really got the hang of chaining displacement together, allowing me to chain telefrag kills, even if it wasn't enough to save this round cultist from dying. It takes just a few small strokes to empty out the whole courtyard. We get our first look at an enemy which is only ever in this mission, the Envisioned. We will get back to them shortly. I fell down in the library and tried to fight my way out from several cultists, giving up and choosing to haul ass out of there. The Eye of the Dead God. Whatever came before, the Outsider. Touching the eye sends you into the void, which is the exact same level, just more open, and you have to deal with the Envisioned. I tried to see if you can telefrag them, but you cannot. It only stuns them, requiring the swords to finish them off. The next 10 minutes are just me getting to a room I couldn't access until now, which tells us that the outsider's mark is in reality his name, meaning everyone is carrying around one of those relationship tattoos which look really bad when you break up. With what I need in hang, I retrace my steps back out to the courtyard. It seems that everywhere I am there's always two envisioned nearby, as if they are looking for me. But I luckily saw fit to eliminate every enemy in the courtyard, and able to chain jump into the ritual hold, the center of the void, a place where the outsider lies as well as the recently departed. Cannot eliminate him through a displace, so once again I let Dowd do the non-lethal option, like I did in the first mission. Doesn't count if someone else does it. Dowd returns the outsider his name, ending the game and proving no, you cannot beat Dishonored Death the Outsider only using telefrag because that one wouldn't board at the start of the game. But excluding that one thing, yeah, kinda. Billy Lurk now goes off on her own adventure involving time travel, apparently. I really need the second and third novel. And that's the run. Thank you for following my Dishonored challenge runs. These have been a pretty big part of my 2024, keeping me sane in my ever-expanding bout of unemployment and certain family tragedies that have occurred over the past year. Now that I've done each game once, I feel like shelving the Dishonored challenge runs for the foreseeable future until I can get some really good challenge ideas and possibly a better setup, but I'd need a job before I can afford that. And if you like what I've been doing, leave a like and send me some great feedback. I won't be doing Deathloop, as I don't consider it part of the Dishonored mythos, despite previously calling it my dream Dishonored 3. I actually enjoyed it more when it wasn't part of that universe. Also, my laptop isn't good enough to run it, and I cannot record from my PlayStation 5. I'll be returning to my other styles of videos for now, just to finish some projects I've been put on the back burner for some time being. Hope you're looking forward to those. I'm Scotty, Scottish Drunkard, Drunkman. Be sure to subscribe for future videos. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.